The objective for today is to solve equations for y so that we may identify the slope and y-intercept easily. When you got an equation solved for y, you got y all by itself on one side and everything else on the other. So if you've got only one other variable here, x, it's naturally going to fall into the mx plus b form, allowing you to find the slope and y-intercept just by looking at the resulting equation. Now this equation is already solved for y, but to try and find the slope and y-intercept may get a little confusing. You may want to rewrite this one. You can write this as 3 plus negative 2x, which we can then rearrange because addition is commutative. We can change the order, and we get y is equal to negative 2x plus 3. Now it's in the mx plus b form, and the slope is negative 2, and the y-intercept, which I'll abbreviate y-int, is a positive 3. Could we have gotten that by looking at the equation to begin with? Yes, this particular case we could have. But we have to remember that that is a negative 2 for the slope. All right, looking at this one now. This one is not in y equals mx plus b. We want to get the y all alone. Right now we've got that plus 2 there. The addition and subtraction properties of equality state that as long as you add or subtract the same thing from both sides, doing the same operation, it's still the same equation. So I'm going to use the subtraction property of equality, and I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. We were used to doing that when we were working with just numbers. But subtracting 2x with the variable there is the same deal. As long as you do the same thing to both sides, it still works. So these will cancel, and you'll have y equals negative 2x plus 7. We can't combine these because they're not like terms, so it stays like that. I put the x term first because that's in the y equals mx plus b form. So I know my slope is negative 2, and my y-intercept is positive 7. Here's another one. We want to get y all by itself, which means we've got to get rid of that plus 3. Again, we're going to use that subtraction property of equality. These will cancel. You'll get y is equal to 2/3 x minus 3. Now that it's in this form, the slope is 2/3 and the y-intercept is negative 3. If you had left it like this, you could have thought the y-intercept was positive 3. Got to remember, when it moves to the other side, the sign is going to change in front. So you've got to be very careful. Solve for y first. Don't just pick the numbers out, assuming that you've got the right numbers. Not until they're in the y equals mx plus b form can you truly know whether you've got the right slope and y-intercept. Now at first you might say, well, you got y on one side, x on the other, that one's done. But y is not alone, it's got that 3 in front, so we need to divide by 3. And when we divide by 3, we're going to divide this entire side by 3. This cancels, which gives you just y. On this side, the x is divided by 3, which gives you x over 3. The 9 is divided by 3, which gives you 3. Now this is an mx plus b form, but it's kind of hard to see the slope here. X divided by 3 is the same as saying 1/3 times x. Whenever you have the variable on top of a number like this, you can pull that out as a fraction, keeping the same denominator and making the numerator a 1. So now we know the slope is 1/3 and the y-intercept is positive 3. We can graph using that information now. We're not going to, because this is not about the graphing, it's about solving to make it easier to graph. All right, here I've got 2y plus 4x equals 10. Kind of a combination of things going on here. First, I've got to get rid of the x part here. I want y alone. I don't want to take care of the multiplying first, I want to take care of the adding. I'm doing the opposite of add, which is subtract the 4x from both sides. That's going to give me 2y on this side. On this side, I'm going to have the negative 4x plus 10. Where did the plus come from? That is a positive 10. I'm going to be adding it on to the end here. I'm not going to be doing, I could do 10 minus 4x, but I want the x term in front because that's the mx plus b form. Not quite at that form yet though, because I still have this 2 in front of the y. So I need to divide both sides by 2. Well, these will cancel, you'll end up with y. These, again, are going to divide each of these by 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2x. 10 divided by 2 is 5. This is now in mx plus b form. The slope is negative 2, and the y-intercept is 5. This one looks like it's in mx plus b form, but there's a few things wrong here. The y is still not alone. I got to get rid of the minus 2. I get rid of the minus 2 by adding 2 to both sides. That's going to give me y equals 7 plus 3x. Now, I don't like having it this way. I like to have the x term first. Can I change the order? Well, that is addition, so I can do that. The commutative property of addition lets me change this to 3x plus 7. Slope is 3. Y-intercept is 7. Okay, take a moment to pause the video, try these 4 problems, solving them for y, and then identify the slope and y-intercept. Welcome back. This one, we're going to add 2 to both sides. We get y is equal to 3x plus 2. The slope is 3, the y-intercept is 2. This one, we're going to subtract 2x because we want to get the x to the other side. We do that from both sides. We get 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 12. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3. This side is just y. This side becomes negative 2/3 x plus 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Negative 2x divided by 3 is negative 2/3 x. Over here, we're going to subtract 3x. Remember, just because the minus sign is over here, when you're adding or subtracting, you got to look to the sign in front. This is a positive 3x, so we're going to subtract 3x to get it to the other side. That gives me negative y is equal to negative 3x plus 7. Then I've got to get rid of the negative in front of the y by dividing by negative 1. This divided by negative 1 is going to give me positive 3x. Positive 7 divided by negative 1 gives me negative 7. So my slope here is 3, and my y-intercept is negative 7. Here, got to get rid of the plus 1. I subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to give me y equals 17 minus 2x. Rearrange the order here. I get y is equal to negative 2x plus the 17. The slope is negative 2. The y-intercept is positive 17. Thank you.